How's it going, everybody? It's your favorite apostates. I'm McKay.
I'm Jordan.
And as you can see, we have done a little bit of fixing up. Hopefully, it looks good to everybody.
It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, if you weren't there, you haven't seen it, we were on stream on Monday, and we premiered. It's still a work in progress, but we premiered our little setup. We're actually recording this on Monday because what we wanted to talk about this week came up very suddenly, and we kind of hit all the points on it that we wanted to hit when we talked about it on Monday. So I'm going to cut together some of the stuff from the stream and just share it in a more proper, more accessible way. So you don't have to sit there for the entire, 3 hours or whatever that we were on after all the technical difficulties that we had, of course.
So we weren't actually planning on doing like a legitimate reaction video to this. It was just more kind of a, like, we'll scrub through it and just kind of see what they had to say. I mean,
yeah.
In essence, what we thought we were going to be working with was Paul and Morgan being butthurt about how they were portrayed in the documentary, even though they literally just displayed their own words. Like, the producer, like, there was no magic editing. It was literally just their own words. And so we didn't anticipate that it would be as horrifying as it was.
Yeah.
I mean, like, victim blaming to an extreme, minimizing abuse, invalidating people's stories and experiences, like downplaying the seriousness of abuse, just across the board. I mean, extremism, like being okay and accepting of extremism now. His words, not mine. This is well beyond what we thought we were getting ourselves into. And the more we got into it, the more frustrated the two of us became. And I think the biggest thing about why we wanted to put this in an actual video was because this all centers around the docuseries that came out. It's called Shiny Happy People, written about IBLP and the Duggars. And so this documentary really centered on the stories of survivors who experienced heinous abuse from leaders in IBLP, people who took
parents.
IBLP principles and used it in their home. And, Josh Duggar and the sisters and all of that. And so this is a really heavy documentary, but it's really important. And just the way that Paul and Morgan responded in this video was just absolutely sickening to me. We've done a lot of reaction videos on these two, and a lot of the time, I hate to say it's typical, but it's usual, like, nonsense.
Yeah.
And some of it's worse than others, but this is by far one of the worst things, in my opinion, that I've ever seen from them.
Yeah.
As a ex-Mormon who was a victim of
similar crimes,
quite similar, where also my abuse was shoved under the rug by a religious institution, by religious leaders, and I was gaslit and blamed and manipulated and all of those things. And so I have the stomach to watch these things and say, this is not okay. Other people do not, and that's okay. And it's not their job to perform that emotional labor, and it's not necessarily my job either. But I did not want this video of theirs to stand alone, not being heavily criticized for what it is. That's not okay with me. And I'm sure we are not the first, and we probably won't be the last, but I could not, in good conscience, sit here and just not draw attention to how horrible their response to this was. So that's why this is a video of ours that's not done in traditional format.
Yeah.
there is input from members in the chat during this that we talk about, which is not typical of our videos unless we're streaming. And so all of that being said, that's kind of the justification for why we wanted to do this.
Yeah. Like I said, it's stuff that we do on stream kind of gets lost sometimes. So we wanted to boost this topic in particular. It is a hefty bit of film, so I'm going to try and cut it down just a little bit, but just forewarning that it will be a longer one, because there is a lot to talk about.
And just a very obvious content warning for child abuse in any and all forms.
Yeah.
Victim blaming, victim shaming, what else? Extremism. Those are like the big things I can think of. Just be mindful of that. Only watch what you have the emotional capacity to watch. Take steps back. Take breaks if you need it. Don't feel the obligation to watch it if you don't feel like you're in a space right now where you can.
Yeah. And if you have the means to, and if you have the emotional capacity to do so, definitely check out Shiny Happy People. It's on Amazon Prime Video. Definitely understand that not everybody has it, but
yeah,
it's definitely worth a watch.
And I will link their social media for all the survivors that were included in the documentary. And a lot of this was centered around the fact that Paul and Morgan could not stop talking about themselves and how this all links back to themselves, and basically sending everything else as like just total crap. And so I want to make sure that we highlight and center that these people shared their stories very bravely with probably a decent amount of backlash from family, friends, people, children even. And so I want to make sure that we direct our attention and platform them, because they are I mean, they did the incredibly brave and vulnerable thing by putting themselves out there. And there are many of them that are not even included in this documentary. And so we'll include those links in the description below.
Yeah. So without further ado, here is this train wreck. Talk about this. I don't know how much of this we're actually going to watch, because I think they still had the entire stream up. But speaking of Fundy Fridays, we had the primary ops coming out against Fundy Fridays. So I'm not a fan of that. And it's related to another episode that we're going to do probably next week.
Probably.
Next week? Is that what we're thinking?
I don't know. Probably.
Jen already said it. The ops are coming for Jen.
That's why I wanted to wait to do this until Jen got in here.
We do not fuck with that. So we're going to talk about it. Just a little background as to what is going on. If you have not, and you have the means to do so, please go and do it. Go and check out Shiny Happy People on Amazon Prime. I know not everybody has Amazon Prime. I understand not wanting to give Bezos your money, because Bezos is not daddy, despite how a lot of people would like to make fun of him. He is quite literally the opposite of a daddy. Fuck him. But yeah, Shiny Happy People came out. Our main squeeze, Jen, Fundy Fridays, was featured in this 4-part miniseries. I shit you not, I thought we were going to wake up the child, because we were screaming the second that she came on screen. But also the ops, they are also in the documentary, Paul and Morgan. Which, when Jen was saying that Paul and Morgan were in it, I was like, what the fuck? Because this is obviously a very critical documentary about the Duggars.
No, that's apparently not obvious.
I guess it was not apparent, because given the last 3 years of news cycle, one could not surmise that there would be a critical documentary about the Duggars, especially following the arrest of Josh Duggar. I guess maybe that I was just reading between the lines and I got it right. I got lucky. But apparently Paul and Morgan were unaware of this, and they participated in the documentary regardless. So we wanted to show some of this because, do you have can you find the story screenshot where they're like, right after it premiered? I want to show you this screenshot. Was it in Fundy Snark Uncensored?
I might have taken a screenshot of it. And I mean, the content of the documentary,
rock solid defense.
To me, it's obvious. I don't know how there's any way that they would think that they were going to be portrayed. And I mean, here's the thing.
In a good light.
In my opinion, they were never even portrayed to be anything that they aren't. Like, all they did was similar to what Jen does and what we do in our videos is just give commentary and then over their own fucking words. Like, no misconstruing, nothing. Like, it's just literally you guys show your ass and then you're mad when people are mad about it.
They were really excited. You may not know, but we'll reveal what it is tomorrow. Going to be very interesting. They're excited about the premiere of Shiny Happy People, and this was immediately following. And the one that I'm talking about, they were essentially they posted and they said it's a good thing we didn't do a watch party.
Yup.
Like, they were caught off guard.
I really don't
anyway, get it. Like, I really hope that's not the situation, but they decided to go like on a rant of this is not what we thought it was and blah blah blah, and they decided to make a response video today. So this is that.
What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
Welcome to today's video. We got a very...
Do we need to boost?
Let us know what the sound is.
Let us know if it's here or audible.
Oh, they cut the Q&A. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what they always do.
Special, unique.
I mean, that's enough to fuck up
what
the
am I
audio.
saying? Is this a special video, Morgan?
It's definitely one of a kind.
Yeah, it's one of a kind. It's a one of a kind video. Honestly, it's about to go down. We got a lot to say in today's video. Heavenly Father, we invite you into this conversation. Bless the words of our mouth and bless the ears of those who are here and watch this video.
Yes.
Did you watch
SHP?
And man, let me kick things off. Big shout out to our patrons. You know, as this is kind of unfolded and I look at other Christian YouTubers, Christian content creators that were featured in this doc, like, you know, we take heat. The Christian content creators take heat.
That is a fucking understatement, buddy.
Why?
A fucking understatement.
Say
This is
why.
not an easy profession for in several
I like how he pulled the shirt right out of the package and put it on with the creases.
ways, in a number of ways.
Nips.
And you know, the heat and criticism
It
affects
is
our
cold
brand
in there,
deals. It
Jordan.
affects our livelihood. So thank you to our patrons for supporting us. You guys are the reason, a huge
Here's a
reason
pro
we're
tip.
able to continue
Don't
to do
be a
this.
patron of theirs.
Thank you
Come be
all.
a patron
If you
of
wanna
ours
become a
instead.
patron. Patreon.com/Paul Morgan Show. The link is
Shameless self-plug.
below.
Exactly. Funny Fridays. It's not
Morgan,
just a
why
crappy
don't
shirt,
you
it's their merch. I know
kick
that
off
because
this
of the
video?
stupid thing
All
on the
right.
collar.
Well, guys,
Oh my God. In the world, but of the word. I thought it was a misprint. I thought it said in the world, but of the world. And I was like, that's not their thing.
Well, that would be
That is
something that they would probably do.
corny. That's so fucking corny.
Evidenced by this documentary.
some
Of
people
the
aren't going to like
word.
this, but I am going to read some notes that I took straight from my phone. And I know that some people won't like this because I've done this in the past and they're like, she's a fraud. She can't even just speak. She has to read from her phone.
Who says that?
That is literally
If you guys come
the
for her on that, that's
weakest
so dumb.
criticism that has ever been leveled against you. The weakest.
If
If
you
anybody
are-
is actually saying that.
If you are a snarker that made a comment about that, that is like the dumbest thing. You can make a million more very spot on comments
Yeah.
about that.
Like my comment about his creased shirt.
But that's all right. This is very much from the heart.
Mom
I
picked
prayed
me up.
over
I'm
what
scared.
I was writing out, and This is from the heart. So
It's okay to take
I wanted
notes,
to make sure that I
Scott.
said it well and said it right. So here
Right?
we go.
Awesome. And throughout the video, we're going to be jumping down
Sounds like
and
a Reddit comment.
looking at our notes. You know, we have
We got lots of notes.
we got a lot to say. This is going to be a packed
Congratulations.
video.
Yes. All right. So
Can we speed?
we want to start out first saying we do believe that there has been
Channeling
serious
breathy.
wrongdoings in the IBLP. We believe that they deserve to be brought to light. We believe people need to be held accountable for taking God's word.
Hearing them talking about accountability is just
Acting like IBLP is so far
So-
removed.
beautiful.
And twisting it for their own power and their own gain, and using it and abusing it. The women and children and men who have been seriously damaged forever, and scarred and lied to deserve to heal and find peace in all of this mess. We believe that anyone who tries to use the word of God to manipulate and control people will be held accountable, maybe in this lifetime.
When does that happen for you? Is that like a
She
next
said
life
maybe
type
in this
thing?
lifetime, but
So I gotta wait.
most definitely in the next, probably.
But most certainly in the next
I'm a fucking wizard. I
lifetime
know
when they
this
meet
shit.
their maker. God is the King of justice. He is the ultimate judge, and we believe justice will be served for these people who have been hurt by men and women who have used and abused the word of God. We're going to share our thoughts and experiences with this docuseries, and we've got a lot to say, so buckle in.
Yeah.
This is a deep dive.
Seriously, go ahead and, if your popcorn's not popped, just
I think she thinks accountability is just the ability to count. Wait, you're saying it's not?
grab a quick snack to be snacking on, something to drink.
Oh,
no time. There's no time to pop popcorn, though.
all right, no time. All right, so
Just hit the
Sage's
pause button.
point, I hate ironing myself, and I have plenty of clothes that have creases in them, so I'm not really the one to talk on this, but this literally looks like he pulled it out of the bag like 2 minutes before.
Yeah, buddy, throw it in
They
the
sat on
fucking
the
dryer.
couch.
That's what I would have done. I can iron. I would have thrown it in the dryer. That's all it takes. Just a couple minutes.
I want to start out with talking about this docuseries. We believe that this docuseries and many alike, like the Secrets of Hillsong on Hulu, the Discovery Plus one on Hillsong, and
Woke
many
garbage.
others, all have a purpose, which is to reveal the wrongdoings of these churches, these people, etc., which is not a bad purpose. But here's
Shocking.
where I feel like they all completely fail.
What's the but?
Because they're made by people who are not Christians, who maybe even have a vendetta against Christianity. Every single one of these docuseries has some major problems. One being they almost never interview people who are still firmly walking in faith with the Lord.
I'm just going to point out, why possibly might you think that? Why would you think that they choose to not interview these types of people? Certainly there is some very obvious glaring reason why that might be the case. Possibly because they are biased towards these organizations. This is the same shit that we get from Mormons all the time. Oh, you're levying criticism, and while it might be valid in some cases, you're not a member of the church, so we need to hear some other people who have input on they're in it. Like, why the fuck are they going to be as critical as me?
They're like, hey, you bigoted, racist,
Yeah.
homophobic, transphobic people, please give us your thoughts on this documentary. That, like, stop. Like, here's the bigger point of this for me: is stop trying to fucking center yourself in a documentary that's not fucking about you. This documentary, especially, is about the victims who were brave enough to get on this fucking show and tell their stories, knowing full well the possibilities and the fucking backlash that they're probably gonna get potentially from family members and friends who might still be in it. Like, stop centering your dumbasses in
Seriously.
this documentary that's not about you.
Well, and it's like, oh, we need to get some faithful people on to interview or whatever. I'm sorry, and especially in the circumstance of this documentary, if your opinion about how awful it is that these people are using the words of Jesus to predate on young children and other worse fucking things. If your opinion is not the same as a secular person, you need to do some self-assessment and see why it is that might be. Why do they need the same opinion from somebody else?
No,
because it should be the same opinion. Sorry, I was cutting you off.
Well, people have brought up, they think Jill and Jill and Derek are still Christian, supposedly, and so is Famey, supposedly. So, it's not really even accurate if that's the point that they're trying to make.
Maybe in these other documentary circumstances it could be, but it's just corny.
Or if they do interview those people, like they interviewed us, they do not allow them to share that faith or where they're at now.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to say this? It's not about you. And you are so pressed because it's not about you.
Yeah. Why do you need that platform? You have your own. They were talking about all these Christian influencers with the Generation Joshua. They all have their own platform. It's not like because they didn't platform you that you're voiceless.
A very important point here from Aaron. Documentary said they reached out to Michelle Boob and Bill Gothard, and none of them wanted to say anything, but they're all still walking the path. Yeah. They're still following God's word, are they not?
They reached out to Jim Boob and Michelle, and allegedly they have nothing going on against them. Allegedly, other than the fact that they were obstructing justice.
They are the ultimate Christians.
Which they should They should be consequences for that. But
the ultimate Christian should have a voice in every single piece of media that's ever produced about Christians or religious people.
It's true. That's true.
To be shared, and two being the other problem is they don't allow the gospel to be shared. These docuseries.
Yeah, you have literal buildings for that.
This one specifically made it very clear that not only people within the IBLP, the Institute of Basic Life Principles, but Christianity as a whole thing is wrong, and the only true option is deconstruction.
All right, there we go. So
that is very clearly the message.
There was Morgan's opening monologue.
I don't think they did an in-depth interview with each survivor. I'm sure they did in-depth interviews, but I don't think they maybe even asked or chose to air, or maybe even thought it was important, their current faith journey. Because that's not fucking important right now.
Yeah.
You don't know if any of these people are still religious. That would require thought and research on your part.
They did not bring that up for any of these people.
So you're just assuming that all of them have deconstructed and none of them are religious at all?
Crazy.
Which, if they aren't, that's just fine.
Which there were other people who I already assumed were still Christian. But the point is not focusing on the doctrine or the gospel. The point was focusing on how these people are employing that gospel to do awful things. And they create a situation where people are empowered to do awful things. It's not about the fucking gospel. So chill.
We're not going to be looking down and reading stuff for this whole time for sure. No. Morgan, thank you though. I appreciate you coming up with that. I think that was very good. So let's kick things off.
That was very good.
Honestly,
this is Thank you.
Be quiet now.
Shut up now. My turn to talk.
We're about to really go into the details. We were talking to our patrons last night, and I was like, how many details do we give? And it was kind of clear. It's like,
yeah, there was a pastor in the documentary.
All the details.
And
how many details do we give? Buddy, I think you are contractually obligated to not give some details. I think that can be the limit.
It's good for things to be brought to light. At the end of the day, you don't have to side with us.
Don't worry about that, dude.
Makes me wonder, why are you on this video? But
we heard you came for our girl.
You know why we're watching this video.
That's why. also, we thought it was really funny how you guys were so dejected.
I'm
after
a
it
proud
premiered.
hate watcher, you guys. I don't give a
Hell
shit.
yeah.
You guys, that's in your court, but
We
our
appreciate you,
side
Megan.
deserves to be heard, especially after the crazy way that this went down. Man. So
I'm listening.
So let's kick things off, Morgan. After that, I want to just piggyback real quick and saying, guys, if you're watching these type of documentaries thinking, oh my goodness, I'm getting factual truth, non-biased, blah, blah, blah. These people are in it to make entertaining content first and foremost. Mm-hmm. They're in it to get watchers and make money.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
They know what sells.
Literally,
Like, is that supposed to be shade?
Yeah.
Like, are you just learning how entertainment works?
Do you not think it's literally about TLC shining up these people and exploiting that to make money, which they fucking did hand over fist.
I don't understand why this is new to them.
I'm really concerned for the media literacy of Paul and Morgan right now, because it is pretty fucking obvious that this is what they're talking. It's an indisputable fact that TLC did this to make money, and they did. Like,
when they act like this is like new information, like, did you guys not know this?
yeah, it's to make a point, obviously.
Like, you do the same thing. Like, the whole purpose is that you're sharing your Christian views to spread the gospel,
Yeah.
but then you also make money. So it's like, we do what we do, and we also make money. So, like, what?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
You were in the doc. What's you think? Yeah, seriously, what did you guys think was going to happen?
We have experienced firsthand, and I don't say this lightly, but we've experienced firsthand that integrity wasn't a leading goal for the production team behind this documentary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
How fucking
understand.
dare you say that with a documentary that's, in my opinion, one of its major purposes was to platform
Victims.
survivors.
Yes. It's crazy to me that he's like calling it into question. And obviously, I know it's to make money. Obviously, otherwise they wouldn't do it. If there was no money in it, it would probably still happen, but not at a scale that it is. It's on Amazon. Amazon is in the business of making money. They're not in the business of losing money. So
It does not. The point being, just because somebody's getting money for something does not mean that you discredit the whole thing on its face because somebody's making money. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism, like we've said multiple times, even tonight. And so the whole idea that we just throw out this statement because somebody made money off of it.
Yeah.
Like, what? Then
Yeah.
that means we throw out all your shit and we throw out all our shit. And then what do any of us do?
yeah, when it comes down to bias, and when the bias is toward the survivors of abusive situations, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that kind of a bias. And it's a little concerning that you think
do.
there is a problem with that.
Take that how you want. Take that to the bank.
Which is not an uncommon thing in filmmaking and show making, as we've heard from a close friend who works in the filmmaking business.
Oh my God,
used to
somebody
work
had
with
to
somebody.
tell you guys that?
A funny thing is, as we get
Well, we have somebody in the filmmaking business. Yeah, they make dog shit Kirk Cameron films, and they literally just run coffee for him.
Stop! Somebody that we know in the film industry told
Like,
us that this
oh my
happens a
God.
lot. Where
Yeah.
have you been?
Where have you been?
started with the beginning of the story, when we went in, we were very cautious. We had plenty of conversations back and forth. We told them, guys, we are friends with someone who went on The Bachelorette. If you guys, not encouraging you to watch The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, but Luke Parker,
That's sinful.
the Luke Parker situation where they villainized the crap out of him. And then we had him on the channel and we went into
Okay,
and talked
let me-
about it. So we had that at the forefronts of our mind, what the entertainment industry can do, the agendas that they can.
Buddy, that is reality television. What?
I am astounded that this man has the lack of brain cells to compare a documentary that centers the stories of survivors of this religious institution that is based off the very principles that you espouse on your channel every week to The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Are you guys for fucking real?
Yeah.
Are you for real?
Oh, hold on. They came for this guy because he was a Christian. They made him look bad because he was a Christian. What the fuck was 19 Kids and Counting doing? They made bad people look good. Why are you complaining?
Oh my God.
It's not like it's a one-sided thing. They did that for a fucking decade. Like,
we are going to do the Mormon Bachelor starting next week.
Yes,
Julia,
we will bring it
never
back.
fear.
This was a bit more pressing matter. Plus, we're going to have to do like a fucking recap. Anyway.
Push and turn people into certain things.
Specifically Christians.
So we had Luke on, and we told the production team, we're not about it. We're not about coming here and being, giving us the Luke Parker treatment. And what was the response to that?
Yeah,
like they fucking knew what that means.
They would have said, who? Julia, yes, this is the worst and I hate it. Oh my
goodness.
God.
No. This is not The Bachelorette. This is a docuseries. Like, this isn't a reality TV show. We want to hear your voice. Like, we want to give you guys a platform to speak and share your thoughts and experiences. That is not what we're out to do.
They reiterated, we are after a 360 view of this situation, but not only this situation, like you said, we want you, Paul Morgan, to come and represent what it's like to be modern Christian content creators and bring that voice in, bring that side in.
I don't know that I believe
and
that.
Those of you who have watched the documentary, you can decide.
Well, we need to rewind.
This is, unfortunately for you, buddy, this is a one story kind of situation. And am I really going to take you at face value?
Well, and the problem...
Like, it's not out of the fucking scope of things, but...
Well, and they act like they did, like, some big finagling to, like, put them into... Like, the video that they used was part of Morgan's dumbass tirade
it was
about
on
pronouns.
your fucking channel. Why are you not proud of that?
Like, they're not even editing shit together. Like, this is just the fucking words that you guys say on your channel. Like,
if you didn't want that included, you should have deleted it a long-ass time ago.
this is a you problem.
Yeah. You guys set yourself up. You played yourselves. Self-jammed.
And we are about to rewind. But I also just want to say this is an agenda-driven documentary. You can make a documentary about anything, acting like you know everything about a certain family, a certain person.
Shout out to
What's
Frankie.
the agenda? Tell me. Right now.
For the woke pronouns, baby. Happy Pride, everybody. I don't think we've said that yet today because we were so fucked up.
What is the agenda?
The agenda is telling the stories of people who were abused in a system that sets abusers up for success.
So what's the fucking problem?
Oh my God.
Situation.
Crazy.
And just like we have had so many videos made about us, made about our mannerisms, made about our marriage and our family, where the person making the video somehow knows everything.
Somehow knows everything about us.
That, to me, was how oftentimes this documentary came across.
Oh my God. Do not say.
This is really about you, buddy.
I'll even say this. Even our videos are not, that we've done on you, are not even in the same fucking, like, atmosphere
dimension
as this. Like, what are you guys saying? Like, false equivalence up the asshole, but, like, for real. Be serious right now. They can't be real with this.
Average Ben Shapiro stan right here.
Oh my God.
So let's dive right in, Morgan. The story of how we came to be on the show, and then the interviewing process that we had with the team.
Yeah, we had a
World's
lot of you
smallest
guys
violin.
commenting and messaging us when you were watching it, being like, "Did you guys know you were in this? Like, they're using your."
Are you serious?
No fucking shot.
This is the people who watch them. That explains a lot of things, doesn't it?
Stuff, blah, blah, blah. Or why were you in this? It's about the IBLP. So here's the story. We were reached out to over a year ago, and I got an email saying they wanted us in this. They wanted to talk to us and see what we could do. I actually ignored the email because I was like, we don't want to do that. Then they sent us messages on all three of our Instagrams, and another email, I believe. And so
yes, that is how they contact people.
I've got a million emails to
influencers
prove it.
and
Oh my
public
God.
people.
Just
I was
circling
like,
back.
what do you think?
Yeah.
Should we talk to them? Let's just do a Zoom call. So we did a Zoom call with them. They told us about the docuseries. This is what they told us. They said, we're going to talk about the IBLP, but a lot of it's going to be about like the Duggars, the Bates, the Plaths,
The TLC big family.
big Christian families, and we're going to talk about like reality TV show and how it pertains to Christians and Christian influencers, and that's where you guys would come in. We would love to just hear your all's experience of being Christian influencers. We would love to hear just how it's been,
Just
what
show
you
the
all have gone
receipts,
through,
damn it.
and get your thoughts on Christians being in the world, the influencer world online.
The big point I think of this is that they're acting like there was some bait and switch here. They were like, yeah, we want to hear your perspective. We want to hear what you have to say.
That's
and you
what
guys
you got.
fucking said it, and that's what's in the documentary. Like, I don't understand where
Yeah.
the disconnect is. I'm so confused. And to that point, yeah, like, I think there was like a tiny screenshot of the Plaths and the Bates footage at some point. Like that.
Yeah, they were hardly even mentioned. I think it was just like the promo material for their shows
for
that was
TLC
really
and
even
stuff.
mentioned.
Yeah.
TV, etc. And so we were like, interesting, okay.
Still cautious, but like
Yeah.
this could be a really cool thing. Like this
Yeah.
could be a really neat thing.
So then they sent us
This could be a really good thing for our channel and making money.
Because, we vibe
I know.
with the IBLP. It's fine.
Which, get the bag. I fucking agree. But obviously, when somebody's reaching out to you about a thing like this, you got to think down the road what it could be. If you're going to be talking about, if they're talking about the Duggars in the same situation, and you're in a camp that's at least adjacent to that, you did not think this through.
Jen, to your point, I almost wish that they would have put Girl Defined in this. I mean, I'm sure that
I bet they said no.
I'm sure they had reasons as to why they went with Paul and Morgan, but I would have, and Girl Defined they had small snippets of their videos a few times in the last episode, but that does make me wonder. Bethany has talked about it at least once and just said that she was aware they were in it, and she didn't know that they were going to be in it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
How
I don't
much
know
were
if
they
people
paid?
were paid.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
more when you're in this sphere, you're thinking about how a situation like that can drive traffic to your channel, and that's where it's. I hate the fucking term, but it's kind of like a trickle down thing.
Yeah.
So they might. I don't know if they were
Thank
paid
you,
or
Michelle.
not. But yeah,
Hi,
all
Rebecca.
press is good press, right?
For them.
That's what they say.
over like the list of all the questions
So
that
maybe
they were
don't
going to
bitch.
ask, and then I believe whether it was on the Zoom call or back and forth in emails, we were just kind of sharing like, look, we have a friend, Luke Parker, we don't want to be treated like that, we're not
I
going to be on
cannot
a
believe they
show
brought that
where
up.
like we look like
is-
total villains, whatever.
Don't
and they
Luke
were
Parker
like,
us.
so you know the docuseries Lula Rich, that was actually a docuseries that we produced, and that's exactly how we're wanting to do it
Lula
with
Rich
this
was
one,
dope, too.
which we
Yeah.
had watched that Amazon Prime docuseries and really enjoyed it. Thought it was
They really enjoyed it when they were
Okay.
dragging the Mormons, but
So Jen with the facts. Nobody was paid for the interview. They got our flight and hotel comped, which
Nice.
rightfully so. I mean,
nice. Shout out for them putting up our friend. Not shout out to them for putting up the ops.
yeah, for real.
super interesting, and I appreciated that docuseries because I felt like it was very much a 360 view of just like they interviewed the owners and gave them a voice. They were able to push back on things. They were able to stand their ground,
I still felt like that had some agenda driven, but
Right.
because we're not fans of multi-level marketing, it was easy for us to be like, we
Everybody
agree
hates
with
the Mormons
Right.
most
from a
of
Yeah.
Christian perspective, so it's really easy
In
to shit on
in
them.
a God-honoring way. I'm about to fucking sneeze. Hold on, let me see if I can mute this.
mean, Caroline asks.
Opposition or whatever.
Opposition.
Our enemies. I don't want to say enemies, really.
I'd love to see them do something they're not supposed to do per their NDA and fucking get in trouble. I'd love it.
I don't know. Was this for us, Jen? That's
don't
not
think
how
so.
NDAs work. I don't know how NDAs work. I've never signed one, so
Well, they're
the
very
agenda, but it still had a feel, like you said. It interviewed
Yeah, they had people who were still doing that to this day, being like, I love it, I enjoy it.
Sure.
Whatever.
There was some.
So we were like, okay, I mean, if they really do let us
Thanks, Kara.
just speak our experience and that's what it is, like, cool. So that's what we agreed to. We had no idea, you guys, how, like, that it was literally all about the IBLP. I didn't even know what the IBLP was, Institute of Basic Life Principles, until they reached out to.
If you don't know anything about something, and then they say, come do our documentary about this thing you know nothing about,
you need to do your research.
You played yourself.
It's your fucking job to do the research and figure it out.
This is your problem. Like, oh my God.
Institute in Basic Life Principles.
See, there we have it.
Nobody cares.
I didn't even know what that was until they reached out, and I had to like Google it, and I knew that the Duggars had a lot of kids, but I didn't realize they were like a part of a thing, whatever, a institute. And so like we were like, we don't know a lot about the IBLPs, so we can't really like speak on that. And they were like, no, you're going to be speaking about like what it is to be a Christian influencer.
Okay, but just because you're not speaking on that thing doesn't mean that you should be totally oblivious as to what the fuck is going on.
That is how you set yourself up to be absolutely fucked, because to not have any insight, be like, I don't have any idea what you guys are making the documentary about, but I'll talk about myself. Like, for real.
Marky up here, do you guys consider Mormons Christian? For the sake of brevity, yes, although many Christians contest that because of the way that they believe in Jesus being works are what save you, even though there's a lot more nuance to it than that. So yeah.
Oh my God, Sauce.
Well, and I
just say you did it for clout and go.
We touched the surface. Yeah. My family touched the surface of it, but it was just very, very little.
Yeah.
And there were things like, even talking to my parents before going on the show, they were like, oh, well, this was too extreme and this was too extreme, so forth. But I mean, there was a little. Yeah.
So what we agreed to is not what was created. Okay.
Tell me how.
So we get there, they fly us out to Savannah, Georgia. And by the way, when we were negotiating the contract that they sent over, because we knew in the back of our minds, who knows where this could go. Like, they seem pretty solid, It's pretty trustworthy, but who knows? We made sure to add in the contract. I'm not sure how it was articulated, if it was already in there or if we had to like say, no, we want to make sure this is in there. But we said, like, we want to make sure that we're allowed to talk about this. And because some contracts have like a an
NDA,
or you can't like talk bad about the show. We made sure like we're allowed to say what we want about it. We're allowed to share our experience, and praise God that we did, because we probably wouldn't be able to do this if we hadn't. So anyway, we get to Savannah, Georgia.
So exactly what Jen said. Everybody's allowed to share their experience.
Period.
We're 12 months pregnant at the time?
12 weeks.
12 weeks. Oh, 12 months pregnant.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
I know he misspoke, but it's funny. It sounds really on brand for
oh my God.
For Paul.
That would be unusual.
Yes, I was 12 weeks
Thank
pregnant.
You.
Struggling with nausea.
And they, I'll just be frank, like, they treated us really well. And that's part of the interesting thing about when we were sitting on the couch watching the documentary for the first time. But they treated us really well.
They were so nice.
They were so nice.
Seriously enjoyed getting to talk to all of them, directors, the producers.
And then this is one thing that, talking to our patron who worked in the industry, she's like, this is very intentional. And it's not like we're...
She's a full year pregnant. She's a giraffe.
I think I told Jen this. It's because of how they are, because they're literally insufferable. I think they're used to people being absolute dicks to them, so that when people are actually nice to them, they're like, oh my God, we're besties, when they're literally just being like cordial, nice human beings.
Right.
Because they're not going to come out here and be like, you fucking idiot, sit down on this damn couch and tell us your experience. Like, what did you expect?
They were like, okay, bigot, sit down,
Jen, thank
and
you.
let's make up your face and get you lit and fucking mic you up, you stupid asshole. That's probably... Were they supposed to be mean to you?
Idiots. Hopefully we're not idiots to the point
Right.
where we're like, oh, they love us.
Right,
But
yeah.
no, they were genuinely it felt like friends. It felt like we were hanging out with friends. The interview process, we're sitting on the couch and it's just like, man, like this is,
They interviewed us for 4.5 hours nonstop.
nonstop. just all these, and
Wow, that's what they ended up with after 4.5 hours.
and we were
crazy.
getting deep. They were asking us some
thorough.
questions that were like, oof. To us, the most scary thing, if you will, was simply like, we're about to go there. We're talking about heavy cultural topics, and we're sharing what we believe the Bible says. We're not holding back. And so
Honestly, though, he says they were filming for 4.5 hours. I think that's how long Paul held them hostage for, because he wouldn't stop talking or be brief.
in our minds, the
Just me.
documentary is going to come out.
Yeah,
we're
you're not
representing
special, Morgan.
Christian influencers. We're talking about the Christian faith, and giving our perspective on the IBLP and the
And how like Christianity and IBLP are different, and like, yeah,
or
whatever.
if there is some overlap, but yeah, the differences. Given
Well, I
our,
like how she puts it, and she's like, Christianity is so different from IBLP. Well, what kind of Christianity? Because your type of Christianity is so different from Southern Baptists or from Pentecostal or like all this other thing. It's so convenient that when they want to ostracize the weirdies, they just say, that's not Christianity, even though somebody else is going to say the same fucking thing about them.
Well, it's too close for comfort to me. Y'all
Yeah.
say that it's different, but it's not different enough.
You have to use something so it's not so close to the
And
chest.
I'm pretty
for you.
sure, and I mean, people can correct me if I'm wrong, and Jen said that's about how long they interviewed her for, and they used about 5 minutes of her footage she felt like, which she was fine with. I feel like generally that's how it works when they interview people, is you want a plethora of information so that you can narrow it down
by a lot.
to the really important things. And it's not like necessarily constructing a narrative. It's putting together things so that they work in a coherent manner. And it's not even constructing a narrative with the two of them, because they didn't even have to fucking do anything. They just showed their fucking ass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You chose to, honestly.
perspective on the
Well, and I'm sure they were like, can we use clips from your YouTube channel? Or
Of
whatever?
course.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't, but I if you're appearing in person, it's kind of implied that they're also going to pull from your YouTube channel.
Duggars and so forth. It was just some really good conversation, and they
MH, the interviewers listened to their bigoted crap for 4 hours to confirm that 2 minutes was enough.
Honestly, though.
even told us that they were
Love
like,
that.
Yeah, one of the producers came up to me afterwards and she was like, I just want to let you know, like, you guys did such a solid job, like, explaining your faith and what you stand on. Like, you should be very proud of yourself. This is going to come across great in the docuseries.
4 hours
I don't
of
know if I believe
nonstop
that.
interviewing, deep questions. Afterwards, they were like, guys, just to let you know, like, get ready.
Jen, did they say that too to you? I'm sure they said that to everybody.
Things are about to, like, how do they say it?
Oh yeah, they were just like if you have merch, if you have a book, like make sure it's coming out right around this time. Like you guys are about to blow up because
This is
of this.
this is about to be big.
And you did, just not the way you planned.
Yeah, sure.
For you
Okay.
guys. So that was what we had getting flown out to Savannah, Georgia.
Cap, bro.
I think, Morgan, now we fast forward to sitting on the couch a week ago when the documentary dropped. So yeah, let's just the raw emotions. So we're sitting on the couch.
Yes, but
We start
also
episode
exactly,
1,
Jen.
and a little ways in, and I've
Jen.
seen some people commenting to some of the stuff we've been posting on Instagram, sharing their thoughts on the documentary and sharing kind of a similar sentiment of this, of like, it didn't take long into the documentary, into episode 1, and for sure into episode 2, where it's kind of like, oof, this is, and now let me say real quick, I'm not saying that there was absolutely nothing good that came out of the documentary. I think bad actors should be exposed. I think that,
Meaning bad people.
Good,
I didn't
because if that's
understand
what
that
you were going to
phrase when you
say,
said that.
I was going to come
Buddy?
across this fucking screen. Like,
she was gonna go fucking the ring on his ass.
I'm still not unconvinced that that's what's coming.
Seriously.
Bad people that are maybe masquerading as good people or as people of the Christian faith.
The wolves
Like
in
you.
sheep clothing should be.
They should be exposed.
Exposed.
Victims should be empathized with and heard. That's a good thing. This documentary, if there was some good elements in that regard, I'm just sharing, like, moving into the second episode, I'm thinking to myself, man, like, how are they going to bring us in to balance out the extremism? Like, it just felt like, man, they are just like going after this, and where are we going to fit? And then suddenly we realize where we're going to fit.
Yeah, that's a fucking
ultimately,
self-report right there if
we're gonna
I've ever
fit
heard
as
one.
A
Yeah,
hit
buddy.
piece of literally.
Also, people bringing up the term bad actors, it is ridiculous because they're using this and being like, oh, they just did bad things. No, Josh Duggar is objectively a bad person. People who exploit religious beliefs to put themselves in a place of authority where they can abuse others are bad people. They're not bad actors. They're not people who just do bad things. They're bad people. Bar none. There's no exception to that. They could become good people in some cases. People like Josh Duggar, I don't think should deserve any redemption.
Being lumped in with the IBLP, with extremism, with cultism. And here's a funny thing. Probably 2 months leading up to to being asked to be in the documentary, something, I don't know, 3 months, 2 months, whatever, we had made a video, and people that are fans of the channel probably saw it. When the Josh Duggar awful stuff broke, we made a video condemning Josh, condemning that situation, calling out the evils of it. And then what do you know? Like, what happens?
So they're making
Do you want
a
a fucking cookie? Like, it's so commendable for you to say that child CSAM and all of those things is bad. Like, oh my God, you guys, what a powerful take.
That is the default. Any there's no nuance. And there shouldn't be any other side to the coin.
No, I don't understand why they think that's
put
such a
a
big
smack
thing
dab
for
in
them
the
to do.
middle of the episode.
Yes, Josh deserves to be in General Pop.
Where Josh Duggar exposed for all this evil, and suddenly we're dropped in
And
the
then,
middle.
bloop, here's a little
Here's
segment on
a little where they're
infiltrating.
No, that's
is
not,
not
how
how
it
it
went. That
where they're saying, and here the IBLP and the older people passing it down. Now here is the younger generation that is continue. They literally called it the continuing. This is the continuation of that extremism.
no. Oh my God. Yeah, they're fucking media literacy is non-existent. Is gone.
The cult
Same
stuff.
book, new cover.
Same book, new cover.
That's Jen's
That-
quote,
here's the
literally.
new younger generation that is continuing.
Yeah. They made no
Was that supposed to be shade?
differentiation. Is that a word?
Did you say they threw shade directly? Rude shade? I'm gonna come for them.
Between IBLP and just Christians who are not a part of that, who are just living life by the
Just we don't want to be associated with the predators. We're just your regular old Christian nationalists. We want the United States to be only a Christian nation, and if you don't like that, you should get out.
Here's the
but
problem.
we're not extremists.
Here's the problem is everybody thought the same thing about Josh. Everybody thought the same thing about he's just a good Christian dude.
He's
and
a good Christian
sure,
dude.
he's in IBLP, but people didn't think that IBLP was, most people,
Yeah,
public,
no,
didn't think it was a cult at that time.
TLC made sure of it that it looked like it was a good thing.
Yes, Jen, you did say that. I do remember.
word of God. They just lumped everyone in together. They talked about the
Did you watch
Joshua
it?
generation.
I don't. I think this part they might have blacked out because they were so fucking hurt that this is their contribution.
and like apparently we're a part of that, and like infiltrating politics and infiltrating schools and infiltrating the world.
The radicals being sent out to infiltrate all these spheres, and we're sitting here like like, what's the Joshua generation?
Is that not what you do?
We're just trying to live godly lives.
Yeah.
Oh my
And suddenly we're the continuation of the radicals. We're the Joshua generation.
We're being trained by Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar.
That's literally not what they said. Oh my
Okay,
God.
buddy, you're missing.
I don't think they have the comprehension skills for this.
You're missing the point. It was obviously, if you think that this is the whole idea of the Joshua generation fucking worked, because it's not meant to be like an outward thing. It's like basically, I very loosely use the term psyop, where they're trying to get Christianity into popular media and all this shit.
It's the whole reason they do what they do.
Yeah. That was the point. It's not like some society that you join. Oh, I'm a member of the Joshua generation. No, it's an idea.
On and continue their job.
One thing before we continue on that I want to bring to light, I guess one thing that hit me pretty quick was, this was supposed to be a 360 view.
Mm-hmm. There was not a 360. This was a 180, which Paul accidentally wrote.
I was going to say.
Yeah, right. It's supposed to be a 360 view of, here's the cult-like behavior. Here's where they've deviated from the Word of God. But here's Christians that are choosing to stand on the Word of God, rejecting that, but still embracing Christ-like biblical Christianity.
I once again say, it's not about you.
The point of that entire segment was to show the similarities of what's going on with Christians in popular media and media platforms.
It's
pretty obvious.
I don't understand how they don't make the connection. Like,
name another skateboard move.
Why were the Duggars? How did all of this become so successful? Because the Duggars were given a platform where they talked about their beliefs, they talked about what they do, they talked about how they live their lives. And the social media and the reality TV and everything that they did pushed
Kiki
them
for the dono
to where they're at now. And you can't tell me that Paul and Morgan don't take a separate path. The reason that you do what you do, and I'm sure Michelle and Boob would say the same thing, is that they want to spread their ministry, right? They want to preach the gospel. They want to share people how they live their lives and how their kids they were abused to the point that they are just constantly obedient. Like, that's the whole, I don't understand how you guys think you're doing anything different. You don't have as massive as a platform, but if you had the opportunity, you would fucking take it.
You instantly, without a doubt. Well, and they want to say like they're so fucking different. Like, they were talking about blanket training and this shit. Your besties, Nate and Sutton, were talking about how they spank their kids. And while it might not be the same fucking thing, it's the same principle.
Mm-hmm.
So it
wasn't that.
You're not that far
all
removed.
over here. Mm-hmm. Or you've deconstructed, like you said, and now you
hate the faith, you hate religion, you hate God, you hate anyone who.
I'm gonna need a timestamp for anything that could be considered
is synonymous with
construed
deconstruction.
like that.
I know a plentiful amount of ex-Mormons who deconstructed and then
became Christians.
And
or
so
anything else.
This
honestly.
broad generalization is just such bullshit.
Yeah. Goofy.
Claims to be a believer in the word. You
That's
hate those people.
That's sure what it felt like to me. You guys, can.
If anyone said that, it was one of the fucking rock star IBLP ladies that were interviewed. Because honestly, all of them were fucking amazing.
You're out to destroy those types of people. You've created entire YouTube channels and
like this video
TikToks
if you hate God.
to destroy people that live
Why can I
like
only
that.
like once?
And that's where I was going to go with. So let's look at the sources. Is that what you call them? Different people being
experts that they interviewed.
The experts, the different people being interviewed, and
the people who were survivors of the abuse that was suffered
not even
at the hands of people who were similar to
experts of their own experiences, might I add. But the experts that they interviewed were
journalists,
legitimate people. They didn't pull off Joe from behind the barn.
Yeah.
Like
Pastor Joe.
Pastor Joe. Like, what were you expecting?
Seriously.
You're mad that they didn't pull Tucker Carlson for his perspective?
Yeah. He's an expert.
I'm not. It was pretty quickly that I realized, oh man, like most of these people are, like we were just sharing, like they're no longer Christians. They are struck.
The experts, you mean like the ones who didn't have to Google IBLP? Yes. T Froggy 912.
Struggling in life. And I want to be careful of, like, there were victims, and those victims, it's so sad to see that they've rejected Christianity altogether. Right?
None of them fucking said that, G. Homie, provide some goddamn timestamps if you're going to levy accusations like that.
No, you know what he did?
None of them said that. We watched the same documentary, G. Like, how are you saying that? And I never heard that.
No, I'm sure what he did was he looked up some of the survivors, and I bet he saw one of them or all of them who had pronouns on their page.
Oh, pronouns in bio. What will they learn?
That was it.
That's it.
They're non-fucking Christian now. I just can't believe that this is, like, it just goes to show how much they missed the fucking point.
Yeah.
Because they go on and on and on and on and on about themselves and social media and the Joshua generation and all this bullshit. And then they're like, oh, but we feel better for the survivors. And then they launch back into all their other shit. Like, it's not about you guys, and it's so embarrassing for you.
And it's not about Christianity. It's not about belief in God. It's about how it was weaponized.
I think
in
they see
certain
themselves
situations.
in IBLP, and I think they're mad about it.
Yeah, big mad.
And so they have to separate themselves.
Or they all are on a journey, but it was quick that it was like, wow, like these people, I just...
Some of the ex-IBLP that they interviewed.
The experts, the Fundy Fridays.
Shout out, Jen.
Oh, did Morgan eye roll?
It's Jen, who was an expert on us.
Somehow
Wow.
she's an expert on us because
She's
she
an
makes a 1 hour long plus creepy video.
Can we get a replay of the
she
documentary?
said creepy video.
Oh, can we get a replay of the documentary where it says Jen Sutphin, Paul and Morgan expert? Like, hold on.
Oh my God.
I need to get a better grasp on what they said about the Reverend.
The experts, the Fundy Fridays, Jen, who was an expert on us.
Somehow
Wow.
she's an expert on us because
She's
she
an
makes a 1 hour long plus creepy video about us.
But I was just like, man.
Just like you're an expert on like all the people that you fucking hate on. You're such an expert on like fucking Demi Lovato and the people that you've dedicated over an hour to on your channel. Crazy how that works, right?
Agreed.
Fuck you. Very much. Thank you. Where's my mouse? What happened? There we go.
I thought we were going to get a well-rounded view of the sources, but you have people that, to me, are actually the fringe on the other side. They're trying to make Christians look like fringe extremists, lumping us all in with IBLP.
They don't have to try hard to do that.
It literally is so
That's
easy.
what you guys do.
Thanks to people like you, buddy.
All you got to do is
Girl
open your mouth.
Define, Nate and Sutton, these Christian TikTokers, they're trying to lump us all in, which if you watch that part, literally, it's just showing little 5-second clips of intense things that have been said in a video.
Yeah. Things that they're your own words. I don't understand what you're fucking mad about, dude. What are you mad about? You said them. They remain on your channel, watchable by anyone, and you're mad that they put them into the video, even out of context. I don't understand what you're ashamed of. Like, if you're ashamed of, delete the video.
Yeah.
Delist it. I don't know. Dumb.
Let me
You're
say
so
something
dumb.
really quick. I am not mad about the clips that they used of us. I'm not mad about like the parts of the interview that they used. The fact that they only used 2 minutes of the 4.5 hours that we filmed is annoying. But whatever. I'm not mad though at what they chose to use.
I'm not mad.
Stand by.
I'm not mad.
So unbothered.
I'm unbothered. I'm feeling good. We definitely are not like fucking 40 minutes into this. You're not mad.
Everything that I said in every little clip that they played, that's not what I'm mad or annoyed about. I'm upset and frustrated at how just badly and disgustingly they lied to us, which, you know,
Oh my God.
whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, people were like, you said what you said. And I'm like, yeah, I said what I said. That's not what I'm mad about at all in those clips.
I don't know.
Then what are you mad about?
What are you mad about? Please detail.
So they played, and then they literally did like the, like showing just lots of different radical Joshua generation, far right extremist Christian homeschooling, blah, blah, blah. But I'm sitting here thinking their sources are fringe on the other side. They seem hurt. They seem confused. They seem like their lives, they're struggling. Radical voices. And like you mentioned, this, they're given this big spotlight to Fundy Fridays, who represents this Reddit hate group of trolls that hate Christians. And she's one of their big sources. I'm just saying,
it's weird.
We're getting a pretty good feel for the agenda of this documentary.
Wow, Jen, I didn't know you represented the Reddit hate group.
Yeah.
As we already said, they made Christian influencers out to be these nut extremists, problematic.
Well, one of the issues I feel with this docuseries was that, they were trying, people look at it and they're like, they were exposing the IBLP. They were giving a voice to the victims. They were, calling out Bill Gothard and Jim Bob Duggar and the Duggars in general. And like, in a sense, yes, they were, but also this docuseries was lumping every person who thinks that homeschooling is a good thing. Every person.
Okay, I don't believe that at all. Okay, like we are literally homeschooling our kid, and I did not get that vibe at all. Even as a former teacher, I did not get that vibe at all. If you're using ATI and IBLP and all that,
that is not homeschooling
bullshit
material.
Yeah, that's not.
That is just Sunday
homeschooling.
School. That you're just doing Sunday school.
That's called
every day of the
indoctrination.
week.
So we're not, again, you guys are painting with such a broad brush that your points don't even hold water.
Seriously. If somebody watched this and then they watched the actual thing, if you haven't seen it yet and you're planning on watching it, just look at all the bullshit that they're saying that it's not even in the subtext. It's not even in reading.
I don't feel like
we've
watched the same thing.
I feels like an entirely different
and that thinks that going to church is a good thing. Everyone that thinks that an order of leadership is a good thing is extremist, fringe.
It's not the order of the leadership. It's how it's set up.
It's not the order that's the problem. The umbrella system isn't problematic because of the order.
It's because of the power dynamic that it sets up that enables people to be abused.
Right.
So I guess it is kind of the problem, in a sense.
Terrible.
But I mean, to broad brush that with everything. I mean, how many things do we have that have an order? A fucking recipe has an order.
Yeah.
Like
there's a hierarchy.
There's like, legitimately, that is not the point.
People, and that's just not true. Like, IBLP took submission and ran with it and took it way off into the weeds. They took from a little piece of the Bible and ran with it and
tell me how it's different.
Control and abuse. And
is their Bible different from yours?
And that's why we've preached for so long on the channel. I'm looking at my shirt, in the world, but of the word, but specifically like go back to the word of God. Make sure you're testing things with the word of God. Make sure you're lining things up with the word of God. Morgan and I have not been.
Here's the thing that they're overlooking. Like, this is willfully overlooking. This is not like a one-off thing. Like, this happens all the fucking time. So obviously there is a problem. And it doesn't just happen in IBLP. It happens in other Christian, whatever they want to call it, to get it away from them, systems as well. It's not unique, which is incredibly sad.
Perfect. We've been on the YouTube channel 7 years now. We're trying to figure out, how do we obey God's word in practical life applications, and we're trying to relay our thoughts to you guys. We haven't been perfect, but we're trying. And so because we're trying to live by the Bible, now we're demonized by these sources being interviewed by the people behind this documentary. So they get to decide that we are horrible.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that works. You, every day when you open your fat fucking mouth, say this shit of your own consequence. Like, this is, like, they didn't put words in your mouth. They didn't use magical editing. They didn't do any of this shit. You literally open your mouth. I don't understand why this is so hard for you.
Yeah. And we're getting away from the point that it's not about you.
No, it's not.
Another thing with the Joshua generation, for those of you who watched it, literally after showing ourselves, like I said, Girl Defined, Nathan Sutton, Miss Midwest, a handful of creators, it literally, the next line was, "This is the Joshua generation." And one thing that they were really pushing was this Joshua generation, they're getting trained up in these radical ideas, and then they're getting sent out into politics.
Buddy, it is literally the label for an idea. Like, it's not like they were giving out fucking club cards or jackets. Like,
Tell me where they're wrong. Like, you watched the documentary. I need you to watch it again, because clearly you didn't listen to a goddamn thing. I need you to watch it again, and then I need you to tell me that what's happening there, even if we take the label out of it, okay? So you don't like the label. Get rid of the fucking label. Whatever you want to call it, you can't tell me that that's not what you do. Like, the very essence of having a platform in social media and spreading the word of God is to reach more people, wherein you have people who are passionate about politics, and then we go down that pathway. Like, it is really not that hard to put 2 and 2 together. It's really not.
seriously. It's crazy because he's like, these people are demonizing us. Like, but you have done that yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that you and all those other people are fucking demons because you cry oppressed when you're really not. You punch down on actual marginalized people while systematically across this fucking country that we live in, this godforsaken country, they are stripping rights away from trans people, especially trans kids. They're whipping everybody up into a tizzy over the most menial things that have nothing to fucking do with you, and you cheer it on. They are stripping away abortion rights and access to healthcare and all that thing, and you guys are literally celebrating it. You're demons. You're demonizing your own selves because that's what you are.
The spheres of influence, and they're overturning Roe v. Wade, and they're taking blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, so were these militant Joshua generation going and taking over society? I'm looking at what the left is doing, what liberal colleges are doing, what the LGBT...
Shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. This is
of
such a
God.
tired talking point.
This is why when they say experts and journalists, like, really?
LGBTQ
They
activists
came
are
from a
doing,
liberal college.
what the pro-choice activists are doing. They're saying that we're doing that. I don't even know what the Joshua generation is. These people are far more radically trying to do that, in my opinion. So that it's just all...
What's the liberal version?
Exactly that. It's your opinion. It's your opinion. Being accepting of other people is such a fucking radical idea, guys.
Hogwash.
Yeah, it was really,
Poppycock.
really weird, like, how they tried to portray in every episode, just like how Christians
Paul's mad that he can't say dog shit like I can. He has to say words like hogwash.
are trying to take over the world. So are leftists. So are this group. So are these people.
Yeah, it's so bad that I want people to be radically accepted for fucking... Oh, it's so bad that I want... I hope that everybody can have access to healthcare and doesn't have to go without a fucking roof over their head, or children have to go without meals. Like, it's so Oh man, that would be such a bad thing to take over
Like,
the world for.
oh, how dare Christians want to be in politics? How
Yeah.
dare Christians want to raise their children and homeschool them? How dare Christians want to be a part of the world that they live in?
There is not a single thing a part of as Christians. This is a Christian nation. Everybody, do you like my Paul voice? This is a Christian nation, right? This is the whole premise of everything because it is. Because it is. There is not anything about this dynamic other than the fact that that Morgan is a woman that's marginalized or oppressed. Christians are not oppressed, you guys. Like, I don't know what it's going to take to get you to see that because you guys are literally the most catered to on the fucking planet.
Yes.
You get whatever you want.
The Void says, Morgan, thanks for the super chat, by the way. We're victims because we're bigots. Apologies. Seriously, though. Oh, you guys don't want Christians to be in politics. Yeah, because your awful theology is stripping rights away from people who are minding their fucking business.
How many?
I don't want that.
How many people in U.S. Congress right now are Christians?
There are so many. And I'm not going to say all Christians because there are other Christians who are not actively trying to do that. But it's Christians who are in line with you and the Joshua generation, as you say, doesn't exist because it isn't like it's an idea. It's not an organization. It's like Antifa. Like these people all hold the same values and they're fighting for that and they want that for everybody in this nation. And those are the people that I don't want governing over me.
You're not oppressed. I mean, how many people on the fucking Supreme Court identify as Christian?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, I don't
And how many
understand
of
where the
those
disconnect
people,
is.
how many of those people also voted to overturn Roe versus Wade?
Like, oh my God.
Like,
And like, what?
And they were making it seem like all of these, like, yeah, the homeschooling families, the Christians with big families, the wives that do desire to submit to their husbands, as it talks about in the Bible, all these things that this is just horrible. And see where it leads. And it's like, okay, what about all the awesome homeschooling experiences and homeschooling families and kids that went up through homeschooling that had great experiences? Oh no, that doesn't exist. I mean, it's
Once
gaslighting,
again, you're
honestly.
centering yourself. This is not about
What about
just
the husband and wife?
homeschooling with any general fucking curriculum that you want to pull out of your ass. This is homeschooling within IBLP and other people, religious people who may have been drawn to it because of the popularity. Like, we're not talking, like, you guys are the ones painting with the fucking broad brushes.
yes.
That's
Tim says, Paul and Morgan are pro Tifa. You can just shorten that to fascists. Fix that for you. Thanks, buddy.
The family dynamics where it's actually done in a healthy biblical way, and there is a healthy submission. And I'm glad they left that part in, even though it's like to make you look like, oh,
Right.
Morgan submits. We're gonna leave this in there. It's like, no, I'm glad that they left that in there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Nobody. The bad part about that was a husband is allowed to spank his wife for disobeying her and not for pleasure. Like, that is the bad part of it.
Well, and I think you guys don't like it because in that sense, your dynamic, the submission thing, lines right up with the fucking umbrella.
Yep.
So that seems like it's a little too close for comfort for you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these good experiences, it's just gaslighting the millions of Christians that are doing it right or that are trying their best and doing pretty stinking good. But no, you're going to turn out like Josh Duggar. You're going to turn out like the Duggar situation. You're going to turn out like Bill Gothard and all of the things that he got wrong. You're going to be right there, and that's the way you're going to end up. No,
Why?
I reject that.
Why? Tell me, as a former Mormon, and Mormons are full of fucking gross-ass people too, not every person who commits horrible crimes, predatory crimes against children especially, is religious. But tell me why the majority of them are. Please, explain it to me.
A shocking discrepancy
Across
between the two
denominations,
groups.
Mormons, Catholics, Christians, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Because there seems to be one common thread that runs through all of those things. And I don't think you like looking at that. And I think that's why this shit makes you so uncomfortable, because you think that you are so far removed from Josh Duggar. But you are not. Every human person is capable of doing awful things. And it becomes easier to do those awful things when you belong to a religion or an organization that makes it okay.
Easy. Makes it easy to do that. And I believe it's easy for a lot of people. Shout out Diamond Dave with the fucking super chat. Been a hot minute. Miss you guys. Hope you're well. We're doing well. We are setting up. You didn't see the other half. I think you got here late, so you didn't see the first part. You didn't
see the hot mess that was the
It was
beginning.
such a fucking hot mess. But I figured it out. And it got better. So we're vibing now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ginger Volo wrote a book, Becoming Free Indeed, and she talks about her experience, and I think that her book is just an incredible choice to listen to or read instead of the docuseries, or if you're going to watch the docuseries, like, also read her book, because I think she did just a beautiful job in sharing the downfall of IBLP, the downfall of Bill Gothard.
Because
downside.
We choose to grasp onto her because she is still
because her perspective
Christian
aligns with ours more. Which I don't know why they're mad at Jill, because I'm pretty sure Jill is still religious, and I think they actually still have some problematic viewpoints that have come up even recently. And so it's like, you can't pick and choose which victim you like the best.
Yeah.
Like, you can't choose this one because they still remain Christian. Like, that invalidates Jill's fucking experience. And as much as you would like to think that everybody just bears their soul in a tell-all book, that's not necessarily the case. There were probably things that Ginger chose not to mention or chose to leave out, because rightfully fucking so, it's her life and she gets to decide. But you don't get to discount Jill's experience because you think Ginger said it better.
Oh, you want to say that this docuseries is biased and they're editorializing and whatever. That's what a book is, baby. Like, it is the same thing. It's making money off of your own experiences, which, again, get the money, but
you can't just pick and choose.
It's the same fucking thing.
Like
there are still editors and things, and
because that to me is aligning yourself with the story that makes you feel the best about the seat that you sit in. So I'm much more comfortable with Ginger's journey out of whatever and wherever she's at now. Somebody said she's super Calvinist. I don't know for sure, but they like to gravitate towards her because that supports their narrative more so than Jill's. And you tell me why that is.
Yeah.
You tell me why that you would gravitate towards her versus the other one.
Downsides.
The bad stuff.
The bad stuff.
But then just redirecting to the gospel, and that's what this docuseries is void of. That's what every docuseries about any downfall.
Downside.
Downfall.
Downfall is like they ended up getting squashed.
Yeah,
No.
the downfall
That's
of Hill.
Oh my God, he's trying to correct her. He's not even right. She's right. It's the downfall of the
has to be
IBLP
right.
because they're basically.
God damn it.
Non-existent now.
Song. I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Well, I like how they're also like, don't focus on the bad thing. Just focus on Jesus. Just anything that could be criticized. It's not of Jesus. You don't have to worry about it. Just focus on Jesus.
Like that is what is void of every one of these docuseries. Is there's no pointing to the gospel. There's no interviewing people who came out of this but are now even stronger in their faith, that are now
you don't know that
with the Lord, like Ginger shares in her book. Like, she had to disentangle herself from the fears that the IBLP placed in her life and not deconstruct though completely from the faith, and from the truth of God and the gospel.
And she made an awesome point of making sure that was known. I have disentangled. Is that the word you said?
Yeah, disentangled.
I've disentangled to get back in line with the Word of God. I'm not deconstructing, but what did the documentary portray? Unless you've deconstructed, then you're part of the problem. Or look, we've all deconstructed, and it's like, oh, so
even as a person who
we're supposed
deconstructed,
to emulate your all's lives. Like, I'm sorry. So we get to choose between these sources over here. And I'm not saying every single one, but like you guys and.
Yeah, and yes, they had Jill and her husband on the docuseries, and I would be interested to hear because Jill has not really said anything about the docuseries since it's come out. She posted and just said, maybe you watch the documentary. I've got a book coming out called Counting the Cost. But I would be interested to know, like, if she knew that this was the direction that they were going to take, or if they kind of shared what they did with us. I don't know.
Tell me how you could interpret Jill's story any other way than just for what it is. Tell me how.
Oh, you could apply the IBLP lens and interpret it as she was asking for it.
Tell me how.
I guess that's the only other
you shift that perspective in a way that she wouldn't agree with. Tell me how. Being abused in her own home by a brother that she loved and appreciated and was taken advantage of by and exploited.
And trusted.
And her parents didn't do a fucking thing about it. Tell me how you can spin that.
Even better, they tried to sweep it under the rug.
And I know a little thing about that. And that's fucked.
worse.
And you can't justify that in any way. I just don't understand. This is absolutely asinine. Like, I'm interested to see how she thought this was portrayed. Like, her lived fucking experience? Are you for real?
Serious?
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Did they do something similar with her that they did with us?
Yeah, and I also wonder if maybe she's
obviously not, because she had a lot more.
Are you saying that your story lines up with Jill's? Are you serious, you guys? Are you this?
Jordan's like Dwight in that one scene where Michael Scott's meeting with Mr. Douglas. Are you saying you invented paper?
Literally, that's where I am. Like,
This is crazy.
I am speechless. These two are the worst, and we've said that for a long time, but this by far is the worst thing that they've ever done.
I'm not going to rank what they do because they do some bad shit.
You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah. But I wonder if, she's under a contract where she can't talk about it. Who knows? And maybe she doesn't have an issue with it at all, and that's totally fine.
Okay, let's boil it down to what it actually is. This is nicely worded victim shaming.
Yeah.
This is saying that the way Jill shared her story does not work for them. It's not good. We prefer Ginger's version.
Yeah.
You're shaming
Where
Jill.
she wants to promote God still.
Like, you're literally shaming a victim for how they share their story. Not even taking into account that maybe Ginger and Jill are two separate people with two fucking different experiences.
Yeah.
I will say it's interesting because the way she was portrayed on the docuseries, it does seem like she's still working through things with her family again, and that's totally fine. And it was clear that like Jim Bob did some messed up things to his children, to Jill and her husband, not paying her for 7 years of her adult life. Like, that's disgusting and money hungry, power hungry, and he needs to be held accountable. But like Ginger in her book starts it out with, look, I had an incredible childhood. Like, my parents loved us and raised us well and poured into us. They didn't get everything right, but all in all, like, my parents did a very good job. I haven't finished her book yet. I'm still in it.
This is literally what you were just talking about. This is crazy.
It's victim shaming.
Yeah. We like Ginger's better because yeah.
I mean, Amy, to your point right here, that's what I was just thinking. Ginger's parents never made her go on TV and say, it's not a big deal. I was asleep anyway.
Yep.
Ginger didn't hold the
She had to go
show
on
that
fucking Fox
funded
News.
their fucking family.
Yeah.
Jill and Jessa did. So, oh my God.
Chapters to go, but she and her and Jill just like are kind of, whether the docuseries portrayed her differently and like she feels similarly to Ginger herself, we'll never really know until her book comes out and we can read that. But I just thought that was interesting how kind of they're different.
It's almost like they're two different people
in how they view their parents, which is totally fine. They could have had different experience.
We like Ginger because she's a more palatable victim.
And as a therapist,
belief.
Let's just say that even if we have two parents that are exactly the same, no kid, no matter the circumstances, gets the same experience from their parents. There will always be variation because you can never mimic the circumstances for one kid to apply to the other kid exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because we're also talking about Jill and Ginger being different people, especially in the context of their home. They were treated differently, potentially, by Boob and Michelle. Like, there's so much nuance here that we're not even taking into account. Especially if we're talking about IBLP and
buddy system,
the
parenting.
Victim shaming with, like, if it happens to you, then reasonably somehow, some way you are asking for it. Like, do we not take into account that potentially Jill is getting more of that shame? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. So hearing these accounts of, you know, all these people saying I went through the IBLP, and I'm not discounting their accounts because we
sounds like
had
you are.
conversations
Sounds to me
with
like you
people
are.
who themselves have been through the IBLP, some very messed up stuff, very messed up stuff.
Yeah.
And listening to that, it did make me question, like, okay, let me examine how I was raised, even if maybe I didn't, we as a family didn't embrace all these IBLP things. Like, we still had strict modesty standards. We had strict dating standards. We believed and really lived out how the Bible talks about so-and-so. We were homeschooled. So I'm like sitting here examining things, thinking through things.
As you
And
should.
even
Oh my God.
As you should.
He can't believe that a piece of media has caused him to think.
Asking myself, okay, were we extreme? And then I'm like, but where are areas where Christians should be extreme and will be seen as extreme by non-Christians? And the Bible talks about it. It talks about being hated by the world. It talks about being a stench.
Oh my
in the
God.
We're walking a very fine line here, my friend.
I'm so upset that the Bible includes that little trump card of you should be hated.
We're justifying extremism now.
Certain people who don't like the gospel. And so I'm like, where do I just want to embrace, if you want to call it extremism, where do I want to embrace it and actually just wear it proudly? Pride Month, baby.
Fuck you. The two of you are the biggest fucking pieces of shit.
I'm restraining myself.
Like, straight up and down. Like, the absolute
smug motherfuckers.
It is absolutely shocking to me that the two of you don't even realize what you've done with this, because this is memorialized forever and it's never going away, and we're going to post this on our channel just like you do, and people are going to watch it, and people are going to see how big of a piece of shit you are because you're victim blaming, you're throwing people under the bus, you're trying to exempt yourself from the fact that you believe in some shit that overlaps with IBLP and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, and then to, like, throw Pride Month in there. And then you're justifying extremism. Like, dude, you're walking such a fine line. I don't even know if you're walking it anymore. You want to dance right on into extremism? You go ahead.
Go for it, dude. Yeah. He loves the extremism that oppresses people that he doesn't like or he finds uncomfortable.
Yep. You guys don't like IBLP because you see yourself in it.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh boy.
But, you know, sometimes extremism is simple biblical obedience. It's denying yourself, taking up your cross and following God.
Yeah.
And I was
Murdering
reading today in the
people.
book of Acts.
Extremism is me not eating a churro and a hot dog at Costco food court today.
I don't think
only
he
ate the hot
understands
dog.
what he's saying.
And Paul
refuse
is about to
myself.
go to Jerusalem, and he knows it's not going to be pretty for him. And he's like, I don't count my life as anything. Like, I'm blessed. I am honored to be poured out for the gospel. That's extreme, because in today's society and with many of these
Getting murked is extreme. You heard it here, folks.
sources that were interviewed, I shouldn't do this, but the sources that I was not largely impressed with at all.
I like how he's like,
They
shouldn't
would
do this,
say,
but then he does it.
No, it's
anyway.
about your happiness, Apostle Paul.
Oh, fuck,
what are
my
you doing?
keyboard
You're being
died.
an idiot. You're being an extremist. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm willing to embrace elements of extremism.
Yeah. To the world, Christianity is extreme.
Willing to
because,
embrace elements of extremism.
Crazy.
So Jen texted me about this earlier, and it's been like banging around in my head, and I just can't. They look at Josh Duggar as such an extreme, right? When you're okay with some elements of extremism, you're not far off bracing things that are extreme. Maybe things that are harmfully extreme.
Yeah.
So, I mean, go off, dude.
Paul
I
said
just can't believe he said it.
Yeah.
Dying to
With his fucking
ourselves
chest.
every day and picking up our cross. That's extreme to the world. We serve a God of an upside down kingdom, my pastor said one time, and I thought that was so good. It never makes sense to the world because the world is self first, and God.
The irony of that, though.
Krista,
like, it's self first.
That book that I collect is The Miracle of Forgiveness by Spencer W. Kimball.
God, Jesus is serve first, others first.
Seriously, MH, on the fucking head. The doc was right. They're proving the point right here.
Straight up. Like I said, every time they open their big fucking mouths, they stick their foot in it more.
Yep.
I thought to myself, they could come in and make a documentary and get their group of sources and come in any of our churches, any of the solid biblical Christians that are watching this video right now, come into their church and make it look like a cult documentary.
What the fuck is a non-biblical Christian?
We're exposing this church. Literally.
Put any...
Oh, is he talking about people that like hate gay people?
I was going to say, the upside down...
Is that a biblical Christian? Or
also, Hermit with the point, the upside down is not a great word to use like affirmingly in a Christian context. Just saying.
Intense music behind anything and it sounds crazy.
And pull 5-second clips.
Make a girl be like, and then I had to pee.
Clips and then say, in this church.
what? Holy shit, dude. Would they call the Mormons a cult? I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, no. Don't even go down
I'm
that
not going
track.
down that track.
No.
I'm just responding.
We're just
to the
going to sit with what the fuck she just said for a second. How dare you liken the experiences that these women went through to, oh my God, I have to pee. You
Crazy.
insensitive person. The restraint that I have to not absolutely come for you right now as a victim of child sexual abuse that was covered up by a religion, by religious leaders. You are disgusting, and you're smug ass thinking that you are just the elitist of Christians. And oh my God, everybody, you just feel so bad. Like I am astounded that came out of your mouth. That is the least Christ-like thing that I could ever think of saying. And if you said that to me in person, I would have slapped you across the fucking face. That is so insensitive to people who are victims of things that you cannot even wrap your fucking mind around. And then to sit here and be like, oh, wait, so sad. We're not even on the same fucking playing field. I have a lot of patience for the two of you, and I have over the time that we have covered the shit that you've said. This fucking takes the cake. This is disgusting. I don't even have nuance to give to this to make this okay. This is so fucked. Heaven help the two of you. Because what you think is Christ-like is not even fucking close. Go up to one of these victims and say what you just said. I fucking dare you.
I don't believe in any of their belief system, but I hope it's true so they can get there and learn that there's no reward for them.
You two are scum of the earth to be able to sit here and piss on victims like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean fucking shit, because everything that you say doesn't take away from anything that they've experienced, because their experiences will continue to be traumatic and hurtful and profoundly awful no matter what the fuck you think about it. But this reflects poorly on you. Because if this was one of the people in your church expressing this, I guarantee you your response would be a hell of a lot different.
But we can say these kinds of things because they're, oh, this is the IBLP, it's not the same, and oh, they don't even believe in Jesus anymore, or so we think, because we did no research at all. We just assumed based off of what the documentary was not saying. Crazy.
I am astounded that you can be a person of such horrific, like, the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, to boil something like this down to something so simple that you can laugh at it. Like, this is not okay.
But
like, this is, oh my God. I don't even know what to say to you. Really.
for real. You know what? I'm going to let that be a period to their awful sentence. They get to just sit in that space perpetually. Especially, I fucking hope they take down the video, because then, like, things like this will stand as a testament of what you really fucking think.
This is, I mean, just as somebody said earlier, everything that you guys just said points to everything that you guys are claiming you aren't now. And to Jen's point of, they probably did you a favor by not including all the other bullshit you say.
Honestly.
Like,
it really, I'm worried to know what else you fucking said. It was probably worrisome.
You can thank your fucking lucky stars that they probably, I mean, even if they just included more of your YouTube clips, like, that would speak for itself.
I know. I don't even think that the pronouns one, you can't be they, them people, come on. I don't even think that's really the worst one.
No, oh my God. We can pick
by
from
a
like
long shot.
30 million other different things that they've said that's horrible.
By a long shot.
James says, careful, they're going to make a whining video saying you edited them, man. No, this is literally, James, exactly. This is literally unfiltered. We will post this unfucking filtered. This is your whole shit. We won't even make any edits.
Oh, I'm cutting them off. That's what he's saying. They'll make a whiny video.
Oh, because we stopped them so they couldn't.
No, because I don't want to fucking get more of a headache.
Yeah.
I don't want more of that.
I'm just shocked by this. I mean, I know the two of them are terrible, and we've been saying it for a long time, and we've got plenty of proof between us and Jen and everybody else who's reacted to them. But this is like, the bar is in hell.
It is, yeah.
And it's like not even like a funny snark thing at this point. Like, this is sickening to me.
It's sad.
And
I can't do a good Morgan impression. It's just that one little bit. I've been working on it recently since we saw that.
And I sincerely hope that none of the victims, survivors, come across this if they're not in the mental space or have the emotional capacity for it right now, which they should never have to listen to something like this. But I sincerely hope that they don't come across something like this because of how damaging that is.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody is at a point in their healing journey where they can, like myself, where I can stomach this shit. Like, just a few years ago, this would have not been okay for me. And now they run that possibility with other people because they're literally so awful.
The worst.
Like, I don't know how to get you guys to see how fucked up this is. Like, if you can't see this, then you're on a path. And the extremism that you seem to balk at and be like, oh, we're so far removed from that, is going to get closer and closer to you.
Yeah.
And the fact that they...
Flax and cord, right?
They didn't even edit that out.
As far as I know. I can't tell if this was like the full fat thing or if it was trimmed. Yeah, this is crazy.
I don't even have any, like, we've ended some videos before where we're just like, yep, well, that's garbage. But this is like particularly bad.
Yeah, this is awful.
This is particularly
bad. These people
bad.
are awful.
And I hope people watch it, not for our sake.
Yeah.
But to see how horrible the two of you are. Because we have plenty of Christians who watch our channel. Plenty. That look at this and are absolutely disgusted. Tell me what part of the Bible this comes from.
Yeah. Seriously. Where does that come from?
Can't justify that. With any.
I know you were reading the same Bible that I was reading.
Yep. Man, I don't even know how to end this.
For real. It's just so disappointing, honestly, that I guess I don't know what I was expecting, honestly.
You can be mad about...
Kiki, thanks for the...
They do need some serious healing.
Super
they need a
chat.
whole lot. And you can be mad about how you felt like you were portrayed in the documentary and all of these things, which is just complete and total utter bullshit. And you can be fine with that, but you don't have to throw victims under the bus and back over them a few times. Like, you don't have to do that. This can just be about you.
They've been kicked enough.
Seriously. Like, this is... You can be whiny about how they portrayed you and all of that, but to throw this in there and, like, discredit victims and victim shame and...
Yeah.
Like,
Just because you're mad that they didn't talk about Jesus and how good Jesus has been for you in a documentary that's not about that. Make your own fucking documentary. How about that? You can do it how you want to, because apparently you feel like you have some sort of degree of control over a documentary that you're not even producing, funding, or anything like that. Go crowdfund. If you think you're so good, you think it's so important, crowdfund a documentary, throw it together, and we'll make fun of that too.
they already have shit like that. It's like,
yeah,
what is a woman? Matt Walsh, all that stupid bullshit. It's not like...
You guys have your stupid ass fucking...
Talking heads. You have it.
Talking heads, your media, your propaganda. I don't understand why you're so mad that there's... You're mad that there's an opposing viewpoint and you feel like you weren't represented in that point. Like, sorry, buddy. Also, like, the opposing viewpoint on abuse. Like,
yeah, what's the alternative to that?
Okay.
Explain to me where the nuance is in that. Because
got it.
You want to line yourself up with the people who think that there's nuance to that? I don't think you do.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Big red flag. And you're so against groomers or whatever you proclaim that you are, and you've been indoctrinated into believing that you are, that you can't even see the forest for the fucking trees.
Nope.
Apparently.
They think they're so fucking important. That's what gets me. And that you have the authority to speak on things like this, but instead what you've done is just make a complete ass of yourself and fucking insulted survivors when you subscribe to a similar belief system. Similar, because there's a lot of overlap. And if you don't like that, then that's on you. That's your fucking problem. And you can push IBLP away all you want.
And pretend that it's...
And pretend that you're
so
far
different removed from you.
But I think this is so unsettling for you because the two of you are afraid to take a look in the fucking mirror. Because if you did, then you wouldn't like what you see. Because it's all too similar to the shit you hate. That's too far. That's too extreme.
Yup.
We believe the victims and yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, like, sentence should have ended there. We believe the victims, period. It was fucked, period. Like, we don't need conversation beyond that. That's the end.
Just let it speak for itself.
You want to make a video about how your butt hurt about how they talked about you? That's great. But don't drag fucking survivors into this.
Yeah. Just talk about that. Talk about the things that pertain to you.
That's it. Because that's all you guys want to do anyway.
what's the stupid quote? Let the things that pertain to Caesar, or whatever. Kind of the same principle. You didn't even know what the IBLP was before. Like,
yeah, you guys are so sure that it's not what you believe, but you didn't even know what it was. I'm not convinced. I guess I need to stop being surprised.
Yeah, no.
But this is particularly low.
Very.
This is really low.
So just to wrap this up, I won't do any plugs. I will just very briefly thank our patrons and our members, the people who make this kind of stuff possible, and the people who keep us going doing this stuff, especially after a situation like this. It's easy to feel really defeated, but obviously it is an important conversation to have, and important that there is criticism and counterpoints to nonsense like this. So we appreciate all of you. We love you. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. There he is. This is what everybody came for. I just know it. Palate cleanser. Look at him sleeping so peacefully. He's also been here